morning, traders. Welcome to the TMT Stock Market Strategy video for Tuesday, May 24th. Absolutely nothing going on yesterday. You could see that here. Spiders 5-minute. We have our opening range, and as you all know, those of you who follow us, well, we identified a 15-minute opening range, and we did nothing. We did absolutely nothing. Worse than the other couple days that we had last week, Thursday and Friday. We did nothing. So the markets are waiting for something, looking for some sort of signs and clues. Well, if you ask me, I still believe that the bigger move will be to the downside. Not that we don't pop up maybe for 1 or 2 days. I am looking for a holiday reversal from our current, let's call it a bullish bias from last week. So I'm looking for a move lower for the next couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days. Doesn't have to be much lower, but I am looking for a couple of days of weakness and followed by a drift higher, thin to win on Friday. And then next week really will tell the sign if we are going to move lower. I'm just about close to calling a market top, but I need to see some certain price action happen. And of course, a couple of indicators I am waiting for to do so to get my confirmation. Okay, I don't just call a top or a bottom until I see valid confirmation. Okay, well, let's get right into it, guys. All right, now VIX. I mentioned this. I showed this to you yesterday. We have a black candle, and a black candle to me looks like that we could get some sort of reversal. All right, and that's on stock charts. Great charting as well to get some certain indicators on. That could be a move higher. We don't know. We don't know until tomorrow. But take a look at that. That is telling you a word of caution. Obviously, if we move to the upside, it's inversely correlated to U.S. equities. One of my favorite indicators, NYUD, advanced decline with volume. And I wanted to point out, and I did here in these blue markings, you could see when we started to catch that with that 2016 January, February low, we rallied up. Look what happened. We stayed above zero in our advanced decline with volume. And look what happened now when we rose. We sold off a little bit here. What's happened? Now we can't get out of its own way. You can't even get past break out of this downtrend line. So breadth of the market is very weak. It's not what it used to be when the markets rallied back in January. So there is further weakness. Breadth of market does not look good. I'm watching the VIX as well, like I just mentioned. This is something of a big concern of mine. If you have interest rate in a rising environment, you have markets that are fairly valued, dismal earnings, no growth other than companies buying back their own stock to put some money to work. There's no takeovers. It's just not a good environment, at least for now, which is fine. Markets need to pull back. They just cannot continue to go up that way, because when they do pull back, you'll get a flash crash, and worse than a flash crash that happened in 2010. All right, couple of things that I want to point out. The semiconductors are doing well. AMAT reported on Friday. You could see here in the semiconductor index, I made this horizontal line last week, and I said, guys, watch this. If it breaks out, we should get a little bit of a pop, and sure enough, we got some follow-through today coming into some decent supply area here. So we got some big resistance up in this area. So we need to pay attention to that to see if it starts to sell off. Although this is healthy for the markets, right? We'd like to see the semis start to participate, and we want to see banks and financials. But if you have a lower yield, they don't do well. And you can see that we're capped here on the 200. So here's a line in the sand on the banks. There's the BKX, the banking index. If we start to break down and lose that 20, well, I think you'll get the 50, which will be right here. And then once we lose that, I think all of the banks will start to sell off again, and that's going to put pressure on equities, okay? Just keep an eye on these little indexes. You don't have to do anything. Even if you're a day trader, you want to know what's going on. Here's a shot of the VXX, bullish falling wedge, still within the wedge. Maybe we break a little bit lower, but remember, as I showed you on the VIX chart, the Bollinger Bands are pinching, so there's volatility that's to come. So we have expansion of volatility ready to go, and when that happens, it builds pressure and it breaks out either one way or the other. We don't know what direction, but with a bullish falling wedge, possible break to the upside, which would be a bearish signal for equities, okay? Spiders daily, we talked yesterday about the head and shoulders. If it's recognized by the pundits, it takes a little bit longer, and as you can see, it is happening that way. We did break down. We caught the 200, rally back up, and now we have a 2-day to 3-day rally. And remember that descending triangle as well, which we identified yesterday, and that pattern You measure the outside of that mouth, comes in right around 196. So two bearish patterns have not triggered yet, but something to keep an eye on, okay? We could, listen, we could rally. And right now we have inside days here for the last 3 days in a lot of the majors. So we need to pay attention to that. IWM head and shoulders pattern as well. Target 101.25 on the daily chart. And this too has you could see has a descending triangle. Okay. Not as identifiable as the other one, but you could see that this thing does have a descending triangle as well. All right. So this is our secondary leader, and it has a bearish pattern. Transportation daily IYT. M-top formation, double top, if you will, whatever you want to call it. 127.17 is going to be the target. Bear flag, and you know the transport acts weak. Excuse me. It does not act well, and this is our leader. Okay, and then you have the IWM, which is our secondary leader, not acting well. It's a big concern, and when you're up at these high valuations, you have to really think this out. Remember, guys, Apple has rallied last couple of days from the Warren Buffett stake, and that held up the Dow, the S&P, and believe it or not, the NASDAQ. So I do believe that not just one stock, but also the semis were strong. So you do have a combination of both that are just kind of holding the market up. Now remember, the markets want to move down in a big way, and it's held that area, and I'm going to show that to you on the futures chart. Here in the premium video, I put this out yesterday, but in premium we go extensively. We mentioned 2045, 2044 needs to hold. Otherwise, you're going to break lower, and this area up here needs to hold. Otherwise, you break higher. And look what happened today. This is from yesterday's chart, guys. Okay? Remember, these actionable areas that I put out, they're valid. They work. And if you're not a subscriber to the premium Pro Trader Premier video, you need to have a look, because for $49, you're getting valuable, actionable areas. This isn't just a quick, line drawing here. You could see how valid this is, and we put it out there for the ES, the NQ, and all of the indexes, the spiders, the IWM, the diamonds, and the Qs. So invaluable tool here for success if you want to trade, if you're looking for trading. And also for the Pro Trader Premier, $49, we have an introductory offer for our Dark Pool Internals trading room, which is bar none. We kept everybody out of harm's way today by not trading, waiting for a proper signal. So take a look, check us out. I'm sure you'll be happy when what you see. All right. So anyway, here's that ES. So we need to break this tomorrow. We need to either break this or we need to break out. Something is happening. Something is going to happen. It's not going to just stay here forever. So we've been kind of meandering around here for the last 3-4 trading sessions. 2045, tons of stops below. Tons of stops below, and I do believe that they're defending this area, because if it does lose this area, you're going to get a big flush, and you're going to probably test the 2022 area, okay? So let's just move on. And diamonds, you can see here, inside day, not much to talk about in the diamonds. And lastly is the Qs. You can see here, we're in a sideways consolidation. So, guys, be careful out there. This is no joke. This market is ready to make a big move, okay? And we want to be ready for it. Keep the pallets dry. Don't get stopped out. I heard a lot of people, through different chats and stuff, I hear getting stopped out. There's absolutely no reason to trade today. The markets were range bound. Unless you're a scalper and a real fast scalper, there was nothing to do today, all right? Hopefully we'll get some movement this morning. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.